Good afternoon, everybody. We're really happy to be here with you. I'm Rachel Pollack. This is Amy Altoff. And in a little while, we'll introduce our important panelists who are far more important than we are. I did want to just quickly say that the Chief Disability Officer, Kim Hill, encourages you and asks you to come back for just a very short time to the meeting room afterwards. It'll be, it will be short, fun, and inspiring. So please do. So we are here to talk with you about what's very central to what we all care about, which is employment. And we're going to talk for just a few minutes about the process that we at JobPath in New York City use to support people in finding jobs, a process called customized employment. We're going to do like a whirlwind. We have a lot of slides, which we will be giving to you. You'll be able to get that, but we're going to go through it really quickly because we want to leave time for you to hear from the people who have jobs through JobPath's work, who have worked really hard to find jobs that really match their interests and their skills and their abilities. So we're going to save as much time for that. So pardon us for the whirlwind discussion of customized employment, but that's because we really want you to hear from our folks here. Okay, so go ahead, Amy.
Okay, pleasure being with you all here this afternoon. I was just going to give a little introduction to JobPath. Thank you. Oh, that's this.
This is the clicker.
Oh, clicker, great. Okay. And I think, okay, great. I'll start here, just a little introduction to JobPath. So JobPath started off in the late 70s as a project of the Vera Institute of Justice. And I think that's really important to our story. In the late 70s, the Vera Institute was working with people who were coming out, who were formerly incarcerated, coming out of the prison system, and they were finding a variety of, activities for people to do, and one of the most important was employment. And so they used a supported employment model to assist people as they were obtaining employment and really finding jobs and then supporting them on those jobs. At the same time, there was a need to really work with people with developmental disabilities who were coming out of institutions, and so they really used the same models of supported employment to work with people with disabilities. So at our origins, JobPath has always been focused on employment. And then over the years, what we found is that, people needed other services. So people needed things to do when they weren't working. So we started our day programs, and then we started our supported living programs. But as we continued on, JobPath eventually became its own nonprofit in 1999. We saw that we were bringing in people to those programs that really wanted to work, and the models we were working with just weren't really allowing us to find jobs for them. So in 2003, we started connecting with, around 2003, we started connecting with Mark Golden Associates based out of Mississippi, and really just educated ourselves in all the facets of what customized employment was and all the tools. And so over the years, we started with a very small program in customized employment in one of our Access VR programs. And then over the years, just expanded it, continued to expand it to other programs until it really became the model that we use today. So Rachel is going to tell a little bit about that, but it was just the types of jobs we were getting for people, the places we were getting jobs for people at, and the longevity that the length of time people were staying at those jobs was just so much more increased. So we kind of drank the Kool-Aid and never really went back.
Okay. So what customized employment is, it sort of changes the way in which we work with people and with employers. And so what it is, and this is an Office of Disability Employment Policy, Federal Office of Disability Employment Policy definition, is it individualizes the employment relationship between the employer and the individual. So what we do is we learn as much as we can about the individual, not just about their vocational interests, but about the things that they are good at in their everyday life, the things that they need to thrive. And then we learn about employers and we make a match. So it's not, we don't look at pre-existing job descriptions. And we're not just carving out from pre-existing job descriptions. We're looking at employer needs and we're looking at the individual and we're making that match. And that's called customized employment. And some of the people who do the best support employment have instinctively sort of integrated that themselves over the years, but this is an actual process that facilitates that and that really looks at people's abilities and interests and finds employment that match that. And so you'll see when you hear from these individuals here that hopefully, we did a good job in working with them and helping them make that match. Next slide. And so basically, as Amy said, the process we've used is a process from Mark Gold and Associates. There are other processes for customized employment. Not one is necessarily the right one, but if you're interested in learning more about it, you can get access to the slide through the NINEA event. And you can look it up on that website, and they have forms and templates, and you can learn even more about it.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the role of discovery, because the role of discovery is, crucial to finding jobs for people. And it's really as simple as we need to get to know people well before we can obtain employment, right? So it's really, that starts with that everything about customized employment starts in discovery. And that's really, as we're, the definition there, it's individualizing those needs, individualizing the process to really work for the person and work for the employer. And that's based on getting to know people's strengths, interests, needs. This is something that is defined by the Department of Labor. They have on their website actually great definition of customized employment and the descriptions and stories. And how it works is, and really why it's so important is that it's really about we use this iceberg analogy a lot. Somebody comes into our office and says that they're interested in working with animals, right? So we have that, just that bit of information. But what about that? So we really need to spend time with people to really dig deeper and dig deeper and dig deeper to really understand what that is. And maybe as you're digging deeper, it's something else emerges that it's really somebody's really passion, right? But this is something that we spend time in discovery. For us, we're spending several months with somebody in a discovery process. It's not that we're spending, it's not just the same place each time. We're spending time with people in a variety of settings. So here's some ideas of where we might visit somebody's home. That might be something that if that's something that somebody invites you to their home, that's a really important piece to really get a sense of who they are and how they decorate their room or what hobbies they have or what chores they do. It's also about community exploration. So spending time with people in their neighborhoods, seeing where they naturally gravitate towards to see where they get coffee, where they, the interactions they have with people in their grocery store. Just where they take you tells you about somebody's interests. It's also about looking at current activities somebody's currently doing. So if somebody is engaged in a music program or a volunteer site, or they're attending a day program, whatever the case may be, we really want to see where we want to visit all of those places. We want to conduct interviews with people so that we really we're just coming in for discovery. So we want to do interviews with parents, with siblings, with former teachers, therapists, all really important. We do novel activities, so taking people to places they've never been to see how that they interact in those places, and maybe it sparks an interest that they never even knew that they had before. So all of those things are really important, and situational assessments to sort of do activities with people to see how they're working for a small period of time to see whether, again, interest-wise or how they're taking instruction, how they like to take instruction, right? So all of those things are really important. And as I said, the discovery process is about, for us, 2 to 3 months. Or 3 months is our goal. And then these are just all the ideas of who you could be reaching out to. So we like to put this one up because sometimes we just think of parents, but there's so many people in all of our lives. And it's kind of like, we always like to flip the coin. Who would you want somebody to talk to if they were finding a job for you, right? And some of it might be your old, high school friend, right? Because maybe they know something about you that, is like sort of has been latent, right? And it's like something that is really, you're the most passionate about. So it could be old friends, it could be new friends. So all of these people, sometimes neighbors, we've had neighbors who have given us the most insight because somebody does deliveries, like somebody, was like, oh my gosh, they like Danny, like he's the best. He goes out and does deliveries for me. And and that's just such an insight into somebody. So just to really extend beyond like sort of just the idea of like immediate families.
And I'm gonna speed through the next few slides. So we then put all the information, what we gather, into a vocational profile. And this vocational profile is maybe somewhat different from the vocational profiles that people have used in regular supported or employment programs, because it's a completely non-evaluative document. It's looking at what people do, not what we think they can do. And so it's really focused on a detailed observation of the person's everyday life. And then once we have that profile, we're having a planning meeting that's pulling that all together. And the planning meeting is really, really important because everybody who matters to that person is at the table, and you're really focusing on very key, important issues for that person, but the individual is the fulcrum of that meeting. And so each of the people here had a planning meeting in which everybody who mattered in their lives was there to sort of support and think together about what employment would look like for that person. And so go to the next slide. What we're really doing at that planning meeting is focusing on the conditions that need to exist for the person to thrive. So it could be the hours of the day. It could be the kind of supervisor. It could be, how hectic an environment it is, how quiet an environment is. All of those things can be very important to us, to all of us, whether we have disabilities or not. But we think of it for ourselves, and this is a group of people together thinking that through. We look at interests, obviously, from a vocational point of view, and we look at abilities, the whole range of abilities that we've seen in everyday life when we've observed the person. And then we pull from that tasks. We translate from all that information particular kinds of employers and particular kinds of tasks where we all together think that the person will shine. And we come out of that planning meeting with a job development plan. And now we're going to very quickly go through job development in like 3 or 4 minutes so that we can really hear from these folks.
So customized employment, this slide is showing that it is a difference between a traditional labor market job development where we are looking for a job opening. So we're going online and finding an opening that can be limiting for some people and also not really connecting people to where they're really passionate and maybe necessarily what they really want to love to do. So customized job development is really flipping, right? So it's like looking at, you're doing discovery with a person. Now we're doing discovery with a business. So that is like really important. So we're trying to dissect a business and seeing where there are those needs, right? So that could be in areas of things that are backing up, projects that are not getting done, tasks that could be taken away from different people to create a part-time job. Maybe eventually that'll grow over time in hours, to something even more. It could be looking at busy times of the day, right? Where are those times of the day where they could really use additional support? Maybe it's the middle of the day, maybe it's towards the end of the day, right? It could be looking at areas of compliance, right? You're asking these questions like where, if you had somebody to help out with like sort of looking at these spreadsheets for 15 hours a week, where would that really help you? Where would that find mistakes, errors that could then lead to a job for somebody, right? So it could be in so many different areas, but you're spending time with employers to really learn about them, also learn about their not only task, but their culture, culture, learning about the staff, and really sort of seeing, is this the type of environment that's eventually going to be a good match for the job seeker that you're working with. So all of it is about matchmaking. So again, these are some other examples of people that we currently on customized jobs. It does not focusing on existing job openings, and there's a variety of jobs listed up there, and it's really operates on the assumption of employment for all. So, how is it done? Just in, very short amount of time. We're networking, we're doing a lot of researching, a lot of prospecting. So we're going out there looking to see places we haven't connected with, but what are people's personal networks, right? Too. So that's something that can be really important. We're setting up times with people who are either who know the business well. So they're going to be they're going to be managers, supervisors who know the details of a business and care about those details and want to, fill those needs. It's about finding people who are decision makers, who are also able to make the choice, because you can get caught in a lot of job development with people wanting to happen, and then you need the person to say yes. So and that could look very different depending on, the type of business. But it's really about unmet needs. And then really once we find those, we then present candidates. We discuss we talk about their interests, their skills, their contributions. We put together things called visual resumes for people that help the employer see what, somebody will contribute to their business. And then we create positions based on what the person's, the needs of the business and also the skill sets of the individuals. So we just wanted to we're just got two quick stories, and then we're going to go straight to our panel because we know that's why you're here. And so this is Ruben, and we just wanted to give you a sense of just how different it can look. Ruben is an individual. I think some of the people on this panel may know Ruben. He's been with JobPath many years, over 20. He's been there longer than me, so over 20 years. He is in our community, our day program. Ruben is blind. He is an amazing artist, as you see there. He's playing the drums. He's also a very talented piano player. And basically his story is that he came to us, and what I always loved about Ruben is that he does a lot with our day program, but employment has always been very important to Ruben. And he actually started working at Barnes & Noble, and that came through day program. That came through a connection that was made in our day program where he was visiting the Barnes & Noble, and we connected to the manager of the music department there because he was just naturally going there. So he started doing that. He was working a task there where he was scanning CDs. This is dating Ruben and myself here, but he was scanning CDs, and it had with a device that had an auditory component, so he knew which ones to pull that were going back to the warehouse. And he was also doing some other customer service activities as well. And he was there for many years. And Ruben, that eventually, the reason that ended is because the store closed. And then he started. This is all about following people in their careers. So a couple of years later, maybe a year later, he started a daycare where he was getting closer even to being a better match because he was able to play music to a bunch of daycare, at the daycare where they would come up and he would lead classes for the daycare. And that was great. And that was good until the pandemic, and that ended. And so then he was back in job development, and now he's currently working at the Lavelle School for the Blind, which is in the Bronx, which is in his neighborhood, which is he had some personal connections to. He is I've talked to his, from his counselors, they call him Mr. Ruben. Mr. Ruben, it's music and movement with Ruben. It's four classes that come to him, and he leads. And what they were just so impressed with is just how he's grown in that job and his repertoire of songs. He's taking requests. He's the counselors who are working with him, a request will be made from a child, and they're sort of researching it on their phone, and he's already like playing it, and he's like, they're like, wait, Ruben, and it's great. And he does other activities as well, but they've just enveloped him. When you find a match and it's just the right match, it's just, they envelop him, they include him in their career days, and he's speaking to the other students, and it's just really like a wonderful match. And he's always about the money though too. He always, I chavo is what he's in Spanish. He's he knows when he's getting paid. So it's all right. And one last, and Rachel.
And I'm going to, because I'm the timekeeper here, I'm going to shorten what I was going to say here, just to make sure we get on to the main attraction here. So, but we wanted to mention Mikhail because it's another sort. We want to give you a sense of the range of jobs that people get in the range of backgrounds. So Mikhail has a master's in library science and information systems, but was not able to get himself a job. He needed a job that didn't involve quite as much multitasking, that really focused on his organizational skills, which he had, but also gave him an opportunity to be someplace where he could be social because he needed that social outlet. And so he is working at the Frick in the education department. He was initially in the book acquisitions department, and then and now is, after the pandemic, transitioned to the education department, but he's doing things related to those organizational skills that he had naturally and that he learned, but it was customized around specific tasks that he could do, and a variety of tasks, because that was important. So I was going to say a little more, but I think we'll stop there just to give you a sense of the wide range of jobs that we are able to help people create with employers based on their interests and their abilities.
Hello? Okay, great. As we said, the main event today is that we came here from New York City with a 3 panelists that I'm so excited to introduce you to. Emmanuel Pinkasoff, who works at the Schubert Organization, Will Fulcher from Odyssey, and Jade Delval, who works at Saks Fifth Avenue. So, but they're gonna share that too. But so let's start there. So, Will, what can you tell us? Well, can you let us know where you work and how long you've worked there?
I work at Odyssey. Hold, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, and how long have you worked at Odyssey?
I worked at Odyssey for 16 years.
Wow, impressive. Great. And then can give it to Jade? And Jade, the same question for you. Where do you work and how long have you worked there?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jade, and I work at Saks Fifth Avenue for 4 years.
Thank you, Jade. Yeah. Awesome. Same question to you, Emmanuel.
I work at New World Stages, which is part of Schubert Organization, and I worked there for 14 years.
Yeah. Right. And what day of the week? What day of the week did you start?
This thing on? Oh, okay. Yeah. I first started working on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Oh, sorry. And added more hours, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and now it varies.
Great. Cool. Thanks, Emmanuel. Now, Jade, I think we all know about Saks Fifth Avenue, right? So I don't know. I'm sure many people here have been to Saks. I know you have. Yeah. Saks is, yes, luxury goods. And we know, right? Because we feel the material. And right, it's been, Saks Fifth Avenue has been there since 1924, right near St. Patrick's Cathedral and Rockefeller Center in New York City. So in the heart of it all. So very prestigious, Jade, very impressive. And Will, I'm not sure people know as much about Odyssey, though. You want to tell us a little bit about what Odyssey is and what they do?
What Odyssey is about is we do music, sports, and certain sales things in the music and in the music like that. There's certain sales and like say in sales like WFAN and music. There's some sales apps and things like that. There are stations like 1010 Wins, WFAN, the Block, and NEW, different stations that's a part of Odyssey. Yeah. We specialize in all sorts of those.
Awesome. And you're wearing some of the buttons here, right?
Correct.
Yes, yeah. And I think Yankees and Mets radio as well. Is that right?
Yes, we are involved in the Yankees and Mets also.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Will. And Emmanuel, can you tell us a little bit about the Schubert organization?
Okay, so, oh God, I'm sorry, I really hate that. Can anyone hear me? Okay, can anyone hear me this time? Yes. Okay, so I work at the New World Stages, which is part of a Schubert organization, and New World Stages is an off-Broadway theater company that is underground, 1 to 2 levels below. The first level below is the mezzanine, and the second one is the orchestra, where there are 5 different shows, where multiple different stages where multiple shows can play at the same time, and 3 bars.
Right.
And
great.
Yeah.
And you want to tell us a little bit about what you do there? What are your tasks there?
Okay, so I excuse me. I work as an assistant stage door attendant on a regular basis. All I do is not all I do. My tasks are included but not limited to counting batches of playbills to see if it's sufficient or insufficient, as well as inventorying lost and found items. And I also usher on a seasonal basis. And the best of all is performing an annual showcase.
Yeah.
You're the one who makes sure that the customers are happy, right?
Yes. Yeah, to ensure the patrons and artists are happy.
Great. Thanks, Emmanuel. Jade, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do at Saks? Here, I'll move this.
What I do at Saks Fifth Avenue is that I would be placing items back on racks, placing extra clothes in the stock room, customer service, and making the racks look visually appealing.
Right. Thank you, Jade. Thank you. And I must say, speaking to John Adam, who's your former employment specialist, he says whenever he goes to visit, and actually, let me, actually 2 people I should have started. We've got Grace and Dahlia here, who are some counselors with us. So kudos, really. It all happens because you guys. So yeah. So Dahlia, I'm sure you see what John Adam said to me is he always knows when he goes, Jade's been on this floor, right? Or Jade's been in this section when he goes up there. So so kudos to you, Jade, on that. Yeah. And Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, if you don't mind?
My task at Odyssey are to deliver mail and on a certain day, check the PPE stands and restock them, and also restock the wipes at 5 different stations and make sure, I already said this, but to check and restock the stations and make sure they are fully stocked. But I do not work on work holidays.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Now, Jade, if you don't mind me, we were talking to John Adam the other day, right? And he was telling me a little bit about your discovery, like with him. Do you mind if I share a little bit of that? Okay, so so actually, Jade had a unique, because this was a job, you were doing a job search during the pandemic, and so you had to do a virtual discovery, some virtual activities. So you were setting up, I think you did virtual calls, and he was watching you do things like fold clothes, right, at home, and also really got to know you doing your artwork, right? You do a lot of jewelry, a lot of photography, which actually I have in your visual resume here that we were just looking at on the train, and really kind of got the sense that, because you had done some clerical work, but you really wanted to kind of do something a little more creative, right? Like sort of branch out in sort of a creative field. So, and so he really got the idea to reach out, and this goes to customized job development. There was no job like opening that he applied to for, that you applied to at Saks, but it was, he just went, he's a big LinkedIn fan. He researches a lot. He connected with a manager who set up a meeting. And really he then went there, he presented you and your resume, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think you got hired right on the spot. Yes, you did. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. And a beautiful picture of you outside Saks, right? With like calling your mom, right? Yeah. Yeah. To let her know. Yeah. So yep. Go Jade. So that was just a really great story of really good representation of customized employment. Now, Will, do you recall when you first started working with JobPath? Do you remember when you first started working with JobPath?
Yeah. Let's see. It was in December of. Oh yeah, it was December 18th, 1999. Oh no. I'm sorry. It was December 18th, 2009.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and you worked with a counselor. Was his name Dan? I think we
Yes.
we both have to go back in our memory. Yeah. And do you remember when you got the job?
You mean how I got the job?
Yeah, or do you remember when? Do you remember?
No. Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, it was a good day though.
Yeah. It was a good. Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day because I remember me and my JobPath counselor going up to back then when it was CBS Radio. me and back then when she was employed there, Margaret Marion. Yeah, she saw us that day, and I asked her what was the dress code, and she said whatever makes me feel comfortable, and that was okay with me. And the next day or the week after, I started working.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. That's great. Yeah. Now, Emmanuel, what do you remember about how you got the job at New World Stages?
I first got connected to JobPath through my high school transition teacher, Miss Bethany Chase, who would later become Dr. Chase after earning her PhD, and my first employment specialist, Kyle Reardon. Kyle really took the time to get to know me. He made a home visit, took me to a Sony Wonder Technology Lab that is used to close to Fifth Avenue, close to the very south of Central Park and Fifth Avenue. And I even shown around my neighborhood. Those experiences helped me understand my interest and strengths. In the spring of my senior year, 2010, Miss Chase introduced me to New World Stages. All that time, I was portraying the protagonist of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the Gene Wilder version. Excuse me. And New World Stages staff were handling lights and sounds for the show. A year later, in 2011, after feeling homesick from my high school, I was invited to help with scenery construction for Annie. Not only did I enjoy watching the play, but the light and sound crew from New World Stages remembered me from the previous year. That opportunity allowed me to network and ultimately led to my long-term employment with the company.
Great. Awesome. It was a great story, Amanda. Mm.
Just add that Bethany was one of the people who came to Emmanuel's planning meeting, and as part of the planning meeting, we were able to focus together on what your connections were, and that really helped. So it was really important to have at the planning meeting not just your parents who were there, but also people from your life who had an influence on you and knew what your connections were. So that was really helpful.
Okay, so now Jade, I know that Saks is not the first job you've had, right? Where were you working prior to Saks Fifth Avenue?
Before I started working at Saks Fifth Avenue, I was recently working at the Naomi Berry Diabetes Center.
And what were you doing there?
I was doing clerical work. Putting together welcoming binders, making copies for the patients to fill out, and stocking the fridge.
Great. And then you still stay in touch with some of your colleagues from there? Yeah. And I think just kind of going back to that conversation, Jade, I just think it's really admirable. I mean, you really define sort of what you learned, what works, what didn't work, and then you tried on different things, right? And you really wanted to change, right? And you wanted to pursue something that was a little bit more artistic, or being in an more of a visually stimulating artistic environment.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's really, just to show like career development is not just one job. It's and sometimes the jobs can look all, and you could take all different paths. We all know that from our own careers probably. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jade. And let's see, I'm going to move over to actually Emmanuel. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to kind of skip over and say, why is this a good job match for you? Why is this a good job match? Why is working at New World Stages a good job match for you?
The job is a great match for me because of my because of my love of acting has had a great influence on what I do and where I work. I've enjoyed ushering shows on a seasonal basis and performing the company's annual showcase every year, which allows me to connect with theaters in multiple ways. Working at New World Stages has also supported my personal and educational growth. After completing 15 months of GED classes and passing all 5 subjects on my first attempt over 3 days, and following the encouragement of all my GED classmates, I attended BMCC, earning an associate's degree in liberal arts with honors for 3 years. Then I transferred to Baruch College, where I completed both bachelor's degree in theater arts administration with communication studies minor, graduating summa cum laude for the next 3 years, and a master's degree in arts administration for another 3 years. Oh, thank you, everybody. This job fits my interest because it allows me to combine my passion for theater with practical skills. And I've been fortunate to work with colleagues who are supportive, talented, and share a commitment to making the theater experience enjoyable for both performers and audiences.
And let me also just, as a shout out to OPWDD services, I think one of the things that really helped you in doing all of these amazing things that you have done is that you also got some support through the Job Path State Program, which is funded by OPWDD. And so we were able, as accommodations, right? And you fought for your accommodations with various schools to be able to get the kind of support you needed to be able to shine and to show your, to be able to get those academic degrees that are just going to help you with your career. So
so another question for you, Will. How do you feel about your coworkers and supervisors?
How I feel about my coworkers and supervisors, I love them the same way they love me. They show me they respect me the same way I respect them. We treat each other like family. Yeah, that's how. Yeah. Honestly, we treat each other like family.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, visiting you there, it's just like everyone knows you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, anything from anyone at even the front desk, right? When you're leaving, you have such a great rapport with, and I know Grace is, like you can probably vouch for that too, everyone. And then we were even sitting outside for a little bit, and out of nowhere, somebody came up and gave you a little fist bump, right? And just so you said, one of the oldest coworkers with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
I'm quite I'm quite known around the work area.
Absolutely.
in my own way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's great. Okay. Let's see. Will, what just going on that, what do you think you like most about your job?
Let's see. I like doing my job, helping people, and working the work perks. For example, these pins on my shirt. Yeah, it come the place you work at. It comes with some great work perks. Plus, who knows what your job might be able to do for you. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I like working about. That's what I like working at my job, because you're able to help the people around you, and in return, they're able to help you.
Right. Thanks. A little applause and deserves a round of applause. Jade, you want to tell us a little bit about what do you like most about your job?
Can you repeat the question?
What do you like most about your job?
Um, what I like most about my job is just being able to challenge myself. Um, 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 and also being able to go to different floors that they have and just dropping off the clothes, the purses, the shoes, um, and then grabbing the stuff from the fourth floor.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jade. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot that you do. Yeah. I mean, I saw your system of how you organize things on that rack is great. Yeah. It's amazing. I didn't understand it, but you know, you knew what you did. Yeah. Emmanuel, could you answer the same question? What do you like most about your job?
Okay, what I like most about my job is the opportunity to take on responsibility in contributing to running theater very smoothly. As an assistant stage door attendant, I've enjoyed managing a stage door desk while my supervisor's on a lunch break. As an usher, I remember one time being asked by the head usher to manage the mezzanine level on my own. Although I was a little bit nervous, I maintained my composure with a professional attitude towards patrons, and it was a very rewarding experience to see everything running smoothly.
Excellent. Thanks, Emmanuel. Now a little bit. So these are your current jobs. What do you think? Whether it's at your current job or someplace else, what do you? Is there anything you want to try, Jade? Is there anything you haven't done yet that you'd like to do in the future?
Being able to dress the mannequins, um, and then place them at the storefront by the windows outside.
Visual merchandising. Yeah, great. Yeah. Excellent. What about you, Will? Is there anything else you might want to try at your job?
Let's see. I really can't think of anything else I might want to try at my job, but I'll just wait for the opportunity to come because I always put I always put things in God's hands. That's all I could do. That's all.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Will. Thanks. Um, what about you, Emmanuel? What do you think you might like to try in the future?
With my master's degree in arts administration, I hope to work as a full-time theater administrator in the future at New World Stages or anywhere else within the Schubert organization. I'm interested in contributing to the management and growth of the theater organization, helping them run smoothly while supporting both artists and audiences.
Excellent. Yeah. That's great, and you will. So I think we're kind of winding down to the last questions. We were just kind of curious. We've been talking about work so much. A lot of what we do in customized employment is just finding out what people do when they're not at work, right? Because that helps us find good matches for people where they're going to be happy. So, Will, do you want to share a little bit about when you're not working, like maybe what you do in the evenings, on the weekends? You want to share a little bit about yourself?
On weekends, like on Sundays, I go to church, either one church service or two church services. But on Saturdays, I just wait for whatever comes. I just wait for whatever comes me and my family's way. That's all.
Right. And what do you do at the church? Do you sort of help?
Oh, at church, I'm a usher. I'm a usher at my church, and like I said, if I go to a second church service, I usher at that second church service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can tell when seeing you, I mean, just seeing you at work, how you greet people and take people around, there's a lot of parallels there, Will, to seeing just how you welcome everyone who walks into that door of Odyssey, you know? So I can really see that. Yeah, see those connections. Yeah.
Yeah, cause treat people right, and they'll treat you with respect. That's the key. That's the key thing.
Absolutely. And Jade, do you want to share a little bit about what you do and on your days you're not working?
Sundays I relax. And then on Mondays I do go to speech therapy. And then on Tuesdays I'll have my therapy session, and I'm also doing my black belt training. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Excellent. Thanks, Jade. And Emmanuel, why don't you answer the same question? What do you do?
Well, in my free time, I enjoy a variety of activities that keep me creative and engaged. I act on stage with various theater companies thanks to a coworker introducing me to Backstage, and I hope to perform on Broadway someday. Thank you. I also participate in meditation, art, improv, and Spanish groups. I enjoy playing chess with my grandpa, which actually has a special meaning for me. I remember on my very first day of college, and I can remember that it was actually the very day after my 23rd birthday, my career seminar professor and first academic advisor made a very interesting analogy. Checkers is to high school as chess is to college. While I used to play checkers with my grandpa, I didn't learn how to play chess until I was 26, teaching myself through a computer. I've also found analogies helpful in thinking about my education. Earning my GED was like riding on a tricycle. Earning my associate's degree is like riding on a bicycle with training wheels. Earning my bachelor's degree, riding on a bicycle with 2 wheels only, without training wheels. And earning my master's degree is like riding on a unicycle. While the unicycle is challenging, having progressed from the tricycle though, I can now ride confidently on a bike, both with and without training wheels.
So we have some time for questions if people have any questions for our panelists or for us. So please feel free to.
That's okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today and speaking with us, Emmanuel, William, and Jade. You're all very inspiring, so thank you. Can I ask each of you to share what inspires you, since you're all so inspiring?
what inspires us? You mean what inspires us to work? Well, to me, what inspires us to work is to, like I said earlier, what inspires me to work is to help everyone. Is to help everyone around the work. To help everyone around the workforce to the best of my abilities.
What inspires me to work? Um, that would be my aunt and 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 my mom. Um, um, and just seeing um, these different types of colors, different types of patterns, different types of fabric. Um, for both men and women, and also our children, toddlers, kids. Yeah.
Thank you. What inspires me to work in the theater is that, let's say, for example, ever since I was a kid and a teenager, whenever I attend Broadway shows, not only I enjoyed it, but most of me, I ask myself, why can't I be a part of a show? And so I have, and at the same time, being behind the scene to ensure that audience and artists are having the most productive moment in theaters.
The light is green. Awesome. It's I'm talking here. So my name is Alex. I'm a person with disabilities. I also have a speech thing. So yay. Thank you for talking, even though sometimes it's hard to make words happen. I often say words are hard. So what advice would you guys have for people that either folks that we're trying to help find jobs, or what advice would you have for my staff that are like, how could they be the best person to help the next person like you find their awesome customized job? And sorry for the multi-step question.
Well, I'm not really good at giving advices, but I'm going to try my hardest. I would actually, if you have a job counselor who could help you to find what job you are looking for, that would be beneficial for you. Like if you like working in a field of entertainment or law or medical field or whatever fits your interest, your job counselor will be there for you.
Just like Emmanuel said, whatever fits your whatever fits that person's need, the job path counselor will be there for you and the person seeking the job by any means necessary.
Hello. Okay. I have a question about, and I only heard Emmanuel mention this, but I'm curious from each of you. You mentioned getting your GED. And so I'm curious why you had to go that route. Was it because you had like an alternate assessment diploma or what that was about? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gladly to respond to that. I attended a regular high school for it's actually a private school for students with special needs. Little did I know that I'm a part of it until I was in 11th grade, and during my time, regular standardized tests. Regions, should I say, were not offered, which is why we all got an IEP diploma, and like almost 2 years after a hiatus from school, I went back to school to earn my GED for a better future, such as in my original path, a job, getting good salary, until on the recommendation of all my GED classmates, after earning my GED. College would be my window. I was hesitant at the moment, but decided to follow it.
It's amazing that you were able to accomplish that and so quickly. And thank you. I'm sorry that you went through that and had to go that route, but sounds like you came out on top.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that, add to that the school that Emmanuel went to is an excellent school, but it's taken a long time for the systems to catch up and realize that we have to, especially in New York State where there are the regions, that we have to think about how to provide those kinds of services to students in school so that they don't have to do what Emmanuel did, but he really stepped up to the plate. He decided what he wanted. He believed in himself and he did that. So
totally. And I was just curious if that was a barrier for Jade or William as well. And how, if it was a barrier, how you addressed that barrier. Having a high school diploma, or if you have it and it was not an issue, or if either of you had also an IEP diploma and had to go another route to be able to get employment.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, I got a high school diploma. I didn't go to college or couldn't afford to go to college. So to answer that question, yeah, I'm not sure what that diploma is called, but I believe it's called the IED, the diploma.
After I've graduated from high school, I didn't went to college. So instead of going to college, I went into the work program where I found a job path. Thank you.
Hi, I'm really inspired. I am enjoying your testimonies and stuff. But what I wanted to ask was, a lot of people I work with, they're scared to go to work because they don't want to lose their benefits, right? So what was inside of you that said, I want more?
Given a choice between benefits and earning more salary, which is also beneficial, this is also a very tempting decision. We just gotta. I'm also on a very same boat. Since I'm also qualified for benefits, and since I'm also longing for more hours and more wages, I am terribly tempted and torn between going for more and keeping my benefits. So my only suggestion is that we gotta go what your heart tells you. Whether you wanna stick with benefits or or more wages. But I honestly thought for sure that that both would be beneficial. But unfortunately, I recently learned that that it's otherwise.
I kind of agree with Emmanuel, but I believe there's a thing called yeah. I think the best way to approach this is with Social Security and other things like that. Then you won't have to worry about the benefits and things like that. So the best way to approach this is like what Emmanuel said, and with Social Security and things like that.
I'll just say just a little bit about that from the point of view of, sort of Job Path and all the organizations that are working to support people. It's our jobs to help people kind of make that balance and figure out that balance and help them use the tools that are available to work as much as they can. And when they need to maintain their benefits for personal and family reasons, that we work with them to figure out what that balance is. And Emmanuel, I'm happy to talk to you and your mom about that anytime you want.
Of course.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm all the way here in the back. I just had a question. I heard a long length of employment. I heard 14 years, 16 years, 4 years. I just want to know what is keeping you at your job? Like, why are you continuously working there after so many years? And that's inspiring because my longest job was 7 years. So, I'm a little embarrassed, but.
Hello. Um, 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 I would say, just keep on going. If you really put your heart into it, put your effort into it, then you've got it. Thank you.
What I like being around my job is putting smiles around people's faces and the environment. What else? That's pretty much it. If it's a good environment to be around, then yeah. Yeah, it's a good environment to be around. The blessed 16 years for whatever amount of years that any one of us been at our job, then yeah, why change it until anything happens.
Putting a hard work into effort and smiles, which I agree with Jade and William, is the best way to put forward. In my experience, when I first came to my job, I thought for sure it will be my my permanent position. But my former supervisor told me that this is actually my very first step. It took me a while to understand. So, excuse me. 6 months after I started working, and after after increasing more hours, I thought for sure I wanted to do some more until I had to go back to school to get my GED. And after I successfully completed 15 months later, I wanted to do some more. But then for the next 10 years, I was in college, which I had to cut my hours short. And that includes during my time in community college, senior college, and graduate school. And after successfully completing all of them, my hours are increased again. And recently I got my hours increased even more. Wait, I'm sorry. That was last year when I got my hours increased again, and hopefully next month I will have my hours increased even more, so I can do different things other than what I'm currently doing.
Thank you. I'm trying to formulate the question that I want to ask because it's similar to what's already been asked. So, if you were to give advice to organizations, what would you say that organizations need to do to make people feel a sense of belonging in that organization from people who are part of the experience, program?
A sense of belonging. Well, first, well, I would welcome them to the family of the workplace they're applying for, and then like just like that, I will welcome them into the family, no matter what.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
I think the question was around, how do you feel a sense of belonging? I think you were saying kind of at work, like what can be done at work to help you feel like you belong and are part of the team.
When I think of sensing belonging, I think of inclusivity, which clearly prohibits discrimination of all kinds.
I had one question, just piggybacking off the questions that were just asked. As a supervisor of a team of people who have lived experience, what are some things that you look into as a supervisor or in a supervisor? I think something that we're experiencing is our advocates, really want more and they do want to be challenged. But I guess what are some tips as a supervisor do you look into that?
When you say look into, I don't know how to quite answer that. Can you you think you could be more specific, please?
As a supportive supervisor, what are some traits do you look at in a supervisor?
Let's see. Mm, like mm, like mm, like mm, like my like like my like my coworkers. Like my coworkers. I look for a good sense of humor, someone who makes me laugh, and in return, I can return the same smile to them.
Um, me- when I text Monica, she would tell me to focus on one task. Um, 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 so that I won't be all stressed out. And even though I do have some other things to do at sex, um, 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 I do that task first in order for me to move on to the next one. Thank you.
Monica's your supervisor.
Yes.
When working with a supervisor, it's like working with someone within a positive atmosphere.
So we're past time. Do you want to do one more? We have one more quick question here. Is that all right? And then we'll wrap up. Or do you want to need to? What's that? You have to catch a train? Okay. Well, then I guess we'll wrap it up. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
And they have to catch a train, but I don't. So I'll stay for a few more minutes if anybody wants to ask, come up and ask any questions. Yeah. Well,